Uh, Offensively, I think we did some really good things. Obviously, there's some things we got to clean up, penalties, especially stuff in the red zone. And that's going to be a big point of emphasis this week. And so, just trying to go back to the little things, back to fundamentals. I felt like at times we just got out of our own fundamentals and our own techniques on individual plays that kind of hurt us a little bit at certain positions. So, just trying to get back to the fundamentals of the game and starting that way. So
You'd mentioned Monday through Friday after the game. Was that a reference to practice before the game, or did anything happen in practice? Or
no, it's just like I said, I've been big on habits this whole time coming back, and I think this team has been really big on their habits. And so, if you just look back at the week, it doesn't really even have to do with anything football-wise. It could be just picking up the locker room on Monday or stuff like that. Just making sure you're always doing every little thing you possibly can right to give yourself the best shot on Saturday. And I don't think we did that throughout the week last week for sure.
anything specific that you can point to? Or
No. And it's never nothing specific. It's always a culmination of things and things adding up that you don't really notice until it gets you. So I think that's what we got to go back to is just making sure we're doing every little thing right. And then if it still doesn't work, then we'll go from there. But, in those 6 games that we won, everything that we've done before those 6 games really showed up on Saturday for us. And so, like I said, I think just getting back to the fundamentals of things will really help us.
It sounds like you're saying you have to correct a lot of things that you all were doing as an offense.
Mm-hmm.
Were there things that Oregon did that kind of made it a little difficult on you?
Yeah, for sure at times. We didn't take any sacks, but they were still able to create pressure, sending guys from different ways that we hadn't expected or seen on film, and putting in some new packages that we obviously hadn't seen on film. So I think they were, like I said on Saturday, they were a really well-coached team, and it showed up for sure. So.
Coach said he mentioned it 357 days since you guys had lost last. What is it? Did you almost forgotten what that felt like? It'd been almost a year, basically.
Yeah. I don't think you can ever forget the feeling of losing once you've kind of gone through it. But that loss on Saturday definitely had some deja vu of some stuff earlier in previous years. But I think right now we're focused on Stanford. The team's energy and juice on Monday was really good, and guys are locked in and focused. And I think that was more of a reset than anything, and for sure a wake-up call. So,
Having not felt it for about a year,
mm-hmm.
is that like a huge motivating factor not to want to feel that again?
Exactly, for sure. I mean, I hate losing. I know a lot of guys on this team hate losing. I know Coach Kelly hates losing. So, we don't want to feel like that ever. That's never the goal. And so we're always trying to go out there and put on the best show for our fans, for sure.
Your coach was saying that Jake Bobo has some fast twitch movements that he doesn't really get credit for. Can you think of any situations where you've seen that come into play with him?
Third down. If you just watch him on third down, his third down tape is probably the best out there for a receiver. And, he's not the fastest guy out there. He knows that. He knows his strengths, and he knows how to create space within the defenders and knowing the timing of things, and he does that really well. So.
What's the difference when you have a target, and you've had a few of them that are 6'5" and have a pretty large catch radius, for, let's say on third down?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely helps out me a lot. I wasn't the most accurate on Saturday, and so for him to be able to go down and get a ball low or reach up high and go get one for me, and then, guys like Kaz and everybody also putting in the work of batting the balls down so they don't get intercepted, things like that don't go unnoticed. But those are really big plays for me. And things that I really look for, especially for a receiver. So I know that they have my back and I have theirs 100%. So,
how does the culture of this team that you guys have established help you in a week like this to have resiliency and bounce back?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, the juice and energy out here was amazing. And that starts with the leaders and guys getting in the locker room early and making sure guys are ready to go this morning. And again, that goes back to the credit of the coaching staff. Coach Kelly and Coach KB and everybody involved and making sure that we're always locked in. And so, I think from the top down, we've done a really good job of handling success. It's also handling adversity. And, it's just another stepping stone. We just got to learn from it. So,
does having an older roster maybe help that transition, turning the page and that sort of thing?
Yeah, for sure. We know that. We talked about that on Sunday at our pool workout. If there's a time to fix things, it's now. We know that. We're a mature enough group. We're grown men to be able to go in there and look ourselves in the mirror and say what we did wrong and come out here and fix it on Monday. So I think that's where we're at right now.
Are you a superstitious player? Do you have any
Um,
like habits or routines? You don't have to tell us exactly what they are. But
Oh no, you have to tell.
No, yeah. I was about to say, I definitely do. I definitely do. I'm obviously a very religious person, and so I always have a quote or something return in terms of the Bible or anything like that I read. I have a prayer book that I always bring to the game. Obviously, music's a big part of it, and being able to relax, and then my breathing techniques that I always do.
You have one loss,
Hmm.
but you're still obviously competitive for a Pac-12 championship.
Yeah.
How much is that a motivating factor now, too? Do you think with you and with this team?
I mean, like I said, we have way bigger goals than that, and I personally think we can still accomplish those if we just do our jobs on a weekly basis. But I think right now our main focus is trying to go 1-0 against Stanford and beating them. So
Bigger goals meaning CFP.
I won't get into the goals. That's more of a team personal matter. But yeah, it's definitely way bigger than us. I'll tell you that for sure.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
Dorian.
Thanks for your time.
go ahead.
So you guys had had nothing but success since you got here. First time you tasted defeat with UCLA. What was it like, and how do you bounce back?
Well, it sucked. I mean, yeah, losing's never fun, especially with this team. We got some competitors in that locker room. So, locker room after the game, wasn't a good time. Yeah, I wouldn't be jealous you weren't in there. But again, coach harps on it every day, even when we were winning. On to the next thing. Whether it's good or it's bad, we're on to the next thing, and that's kind of how we're treating this one. Got a big one on Saturday. Came in, watched the film some this weekend and then this morning, and kind of put that to bed, and then we're moving on to Stanford.
Dorian's just such a, excuse me, fiery, like emotional player in the best of ways. Can you think of any situations specifically where he's really motivated you, like during practice in a game?
It's hard to pinpoint one because there's a lot just in the little subtle things. I think when he comes back to the sideline during the game and he's clapping, he's getting guys going. Did that some on Saturday when we were down. But then just in practice, kind of how he attacks every day, I think is good to see for us. He doesn't take a whole lot of plays off, if any. He's a guy that once, I've said it before, but once he steps on the field, it's go time, whether it's, Monday morning or it's, Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, which is awesome for us to see and motivates us as an offense.
Do you see yourself kind of matching that fiery energy, or like do you have your own way about going about the game?
I would like to kind of consider myself as just kind of a little more steady. Now, you need a little bit of everything. Could I use a little more fire at times? Heck yeah. I think some of those guys would tell you that. But I kind of just, like to be a steady presence, whether we're up, whether we're down. Just keeping guys going, staying positive, being encouraging. Because, we come back to the sideline, it's a lot of critiquing going on, whether we're up 40, we're down 40. So I kind of just, like to be the guy to be steady and keep guys up,
Go ahead.
It seemed like Oregon's secondary was pretty effective at limiting separation a lot in that game.
Yeah.
What were they doing? Anything that you hadn't seen so far this season? Why were they effective?
They're just good. Those are some talented guys over there. Gonzalez, 11. I don't remember his last name. 4, the nickel. Those guys are talented, and they can run with anybody. Now, like you said, do we have to do a better job getting separation versus some man coverage scheme? Yeah, that's something we'll work on next week. It's something we saw on tape, and need to do a little more of going forward.
You, coming from Duke, obviously came from another elite academic institution. Is there anything special about the way UCLA combines kind of academics and athletics, maybe doing both at the highest level? Is there anything unique here going on?
I don't know about unique. I would just say the expectations are unique. So that in and of itself is a little different. You got to go to class to survive academically here. I don't want to speak on other schools, but I'd imagine, it's a little easier to kind of, just scoot your way past in some classes. But I know guys here, they got to go to class in order to, keep grades up, stay eligible. But then also, I think guys here are dual-minded as well. We love playing ball and we love coming out here every day, but also we know, the old cliche, 40 years, not 4, whatever the decision's 40 years, not 4. It is cliche, it's overused, but it's true, especially at this school.
Is it any more difficult to abide by that 24-hour rule when, it is a loss compared to, a victory?
It is. I think, yeah, victories are easier because you kind of feel a little bit better about yourself and your team and moving forward. Now, I think if you kind of take the things that we got on Saturday and use it to kind of fuel you and motivate you and find things that we can get better at, mentioned separation versus man coverage a little bit better. I think you can carry that a little bit more into the week and kind of use that as a focus going on to Saturday. But, you got to flush it at the end of the day. The result, now there are things within the game that you can take and move forward with. But the 24-hour rule deal kind of, sticks to just the loss itself, not being, don't let one loss beat you twice.
Does the rest of the team players, do they kind of brief you on UCLA Stanford history? Do you know about?
I haven't gotten a lot of it. I know it's been a battle at least the last couple of years. Those guys have been good, and I think have beaten these guys the last couple of years. And they're talented and they're good once again.
Stanford won 11 times in a row.
11 in a row.
11 in a row.
At one point.
Oh, okay. But it's not 11 in a row right now.
No.
All right. No, I got to do my research on that for sure.
If I'm remembering correctly, I think I saw you playing some air drums to shipping up to Boston at a previous practice. So do you just like that song, or do you generally like to keep it kind of loose in the mornings?
I'm from outside of Boston.
Right. Yeah.
And that's kind of the anthem up there. So yeah, that gets me going, especially on Monday mornings when you're dragging a little bit. I get a little Dropkick Murphys going. But yeah, I like to say loose for the most part. And that's an opportunity to do so.
Awesome.
Good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.